All right, welcome back. Today, we are getting literally under the skin of something we all think we know, the blackhead. But here's the thing. What if I told you that whole story about it being just a bit of dirt in your pore? Yeah, that's not even close to the full picture.
So what is the real story then? That's what we're going to unpack, and trust me, the science behind this is way more interesting than you'd think.
All right, so let's get right into it. The very first thing you got to wrap your head around is this. A blackhead isn't just some simple static blockage. Once you get that, honestly, it changes everything. You start to see there's this whole dynamic process happening.
Yeah, it's not just a plug that sits there, it's an active, ongoing problem. Think of it less like a clog and more like a vicious cycle.
And you know, every cycle has to start somewhere, right? For this one, the whole thing kicks off with one of two tiny problems, happening deep down inside the pore. Now, to really get what's going on, we need to meet the two main players in this drama. First up, we've got sebum. That's just the natural oil your skin makes. And then there's keratin, which is basically the protein that holds dead skin cells together. Pretty simple, right? Oil and dead skin cells.
Okay, so the trouble starts in one of two ways. The first trigger is super straightforward. Your skin just goes into overdrive and produces way too much oil, too much sebum. The second trigger is a little different. It's when you have too much keratin, too many of those dead skin cells, and they start to build up, physically making the opening of the pore smaller. So it's either too much traffic on the road or the exit ramp is suddenly way too narrow. Either way, you've got a jam.
But look, those are just the triggers. The real turning point, the moment this goes from a small issue to a real problem, involves something tiny and almost always overlooked that's hidden inside every single one of our pores.
And what is it? A tiny little hair. Yeah, believe it or not, every single pore has a tiny hair, and its main job is to act like a guide wire or a channel, helping all that oily sebum flow nice and smoothly up and out of the pore. So in a perfect world, in a healthy pore, that hair does its job. No problem. It guides the oil right out. But when that pore starts to get jammed up with all that extra oil and keratin, our tiny little guide hair gets tangled up. It gets stuck in that sticky mess.
And this right here is the moment things go from bad to worse. Once that little hair loses its ability to guide, the pore is way more likely to clog up. Think about that. The very thing that's supposed to help keep things clear is now actually part of the problem. And this, my friends, is how we get to the main event, the vicious cycle. All the pieces are on the board now, and the problem is ready to start feeding on itself. So let's just walk through this loop together. Step 1. The pathway out gets narrower. Step 2. That guide hair gets trapped in the gunk. Step 3. Because it's stuck, its guiding job is over, and now the oil has a really hard time escaping. And finally, Step 4. That initial little clog starts acting like a dam, right? And it causes an even bigger traffic jam of oil and keratin to build up right behind it.
And that is the real story. See, a blackhead isn't just a thing, it's a process. It's a self-reinforcing loop. It's not a one-time event. It's a cycle that just keeps on going.
Okay, so self-reinforcing. That sounds a bit technical. What does it actually look like? How does this loop feed itself? Let's break it down. It's a pretty simple formula, but man, is it powerful. You get more trapped oil in skin cells, which creates a bigger blockage. That bigger blockage means the pore just can't do its job anymore. It's even worse at clearing stuff out. And that loss of function leads to, yep, you guessed it, even more trapped oil. And the cycle just starts all over again, getting a little bit worse each time. And if you just let this cycle run wild, the outcome is pretty inevitable. The blockage just gets worse and worse. And eventually, all that pressure building up can lead to other fun things, like inflamed pimples.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Now that we know a blackhead isn't just a simple clog, it's this whole self-reinforcing cycle, where do you think you could break that cycle? It's a totally new way of looking at a really old problem, isn't it? Thanks for digging into this with us.